What's my type? I'm not talking about what you think or what you want your type to be. I'm talking about what your type really is and how the world sees you. This is the first of 5 videos of my new How to Pitch Yourself series. So get a pen and paper and let's get after it. I'm going to ask you to take an honest and knowledgeable look at who you are and what you give off already, before someone even hears you open your mouth to speak and what kind of vibe you do give off when you do speak. I encourage you to lean into your type, even if you don't like it, even if you want to do other things, especially in the beginning of your career, as that will be one of your greatest assets to get you booked for an acting gig. So let's start with face value, with physical appearances. What is your gender, your nationality? What is your age or age range? Try to keep it 5 years more or less, but no more than 10, even if you can play 20 years old when you're actually 40. What is your physique? Are you short? Are you tall? Are you missing a limb? Are you built, chubby, skinny, and waif-like? What are your features? Beautiful? Interesting looking? Do you have freckles? Doe eyes, small eyes, beady eyes, blonde, brunette, big hair, straight hair? If you're a dude, do you have long hair, a scruffy face? So, write down your attributes. Go on, pause me. I'll wait. Okay, now that we've identified the obvious, let's start getting into the not so obvious. What is your trade or profession, other than acting, or what could be a job if you had another job, other than acting? For example, I am not a teacher by trade, but I do teach, consult, and help people through Kristen Keeps It Real, and volunteer through my church. So I can say I'm a teacher, volunteer, motivational speaker, host. I could say I'm a social worker. Also motherhood. Motherhood is a job. So rearing children, caretaker, caregiver could also be one. Next, what do you do for fun? Do you like to work out, surf, hike, volunteer, hunt? All right, write that down. You know the drill. Pause me. Next step is to ask people that you know what 3 adjectives could be used to describe you. And make sure you ask people who will actually tell you like it is and give you the truth. When I did this step, my family members called me innocent, and that totally irked me. I immediately thought of being naive or gullible, but when I actually looked up the definition and saw other definitions, I started to see that maybe they were right. Innocent also means pure, not guilty of a crime or offense. And in my youth, I was usually the designated driver when all my friends were, how should I say this, experimenting? I was known to follow the rules, be the goody two-shoes, seeing the glass half full and not half empty. So I owned it, and now I'm better for it. It further validates the roles that I like to play, the protagonist, the good guy, the detective, the superhero. So once you get these adjectives, you can write down the common ones and start to build the type of characters you can play based on your personality. The next step is to start up a conversation with a stranger and ask them what their first impression of what type of person they think you are is. You can say, without knowing anything about me, how would you describe me? At the time of this video, we're still wearing masks in many places, so obviously keep in mind the space of others. Maybe you would feel more comfortable asking a neighbor you see down the street who happens to be taking out the trash, who's never met you. Just use your judgment. This can be a very valuable step if done correctly. When I did this step, I found out that I was giving off a single-mindedness, which equated in my mind as selfish, which ticked me off again. But it's not the case. It means having or concentrating on only one aim or purpose. Yeah, that sounds like me. And it also sounds like a superhero. Okay, that was silly. I don't know about you, but there has definitely been some people that I've seen on the gram that I never heard speak, but then I met them in person and I'm like, what?
There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
What? So it's also really important to take into account your type based on what you sound like, and also to make sure you take pictures or headshots that reflect the way that you sound. Do you have an accent? Because that changes things. Are you soft-spoken? Do you talk rough? Do you have a gravelly voice? Do you have a squeaky voice? Do you sound ghetto, proper, loud, educated, uneducated? Now, just so we're clear, and so I don't get canceled, none of this is meant to offend anyone. It's simply being able to categorize where a casting director could place you for a role. And there are roles for every type. Now, the last thing to do is to put it all together and find your type already on TV. For example, I'm gonna pick some traits at random from the list all of you should have been doing by now, and I'm going to build out a type. Physical attributes of this person is tall, Native Indian, male, long hair, scruffy, unshaved face, medium toned skin, 33 to 38, buff, hunts for fun. Okay, so I feel like this person I just described is some version of Jason Momoa, who will now be what we'll call our prototype. So we then look up our prototype's roles or things they've continually being booked for. Okay, you can do that on IMDb Pro, and if you haven't watched that video, you can look at it here. There's Dune, a science fiction movie about protecting something important. The Last Manhunt, which is a Western feature that looks like it tells some story of indigenous people. Justice League, superhero movie. Gather, another indigenous movie where he looks like he's playing the protagonist. Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here. Leading man, Native American, ethnic storyteller, superhero, a fantasy character, etc. Here are other types that one could assign themselves. Con artist, empty nester, grandparent, judge, religious leader, nice guy, nerd, popular girl, bully, jock, hipster. So, now it's your turn. Make sure to report back to me and tell me in the comments who your prototype turned out to be, and tell me what your type is based on your prototype. And remember, your type can change with age, weight, and any other physical attributes. So if there is something you want to go after or be, see how adjusting your physical attributes or physical appearance could change your type. I hope that helps. See you in the next one.